TFA fam, what is up? What is happening? Hope everybody's enjoying their Sunday. We have the Jaguars and Broncos playing right now on terrible ESPN Plus. For most people that can't watch it, unless you have ESPN Plus, and I will not be a shill and pay my money to ESPN. So, anyways, hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Obviously, we are here. We're going to answer all the questions up until 11:30 Central or 12:30 Eastern, right up to lock. So let's just get right into it. Porter, Tony Pollard, or Tyquan Thornton? This is not even a question. This is Tony Pollard.
100%.
Yeah. Because it sounds like Ezekiel Elliott is likely not going to play today. I think he was listed as doubtful, but he's not going to play.
Yep.
And so that's an easy one. Mahomes is on bye. I started Dak. Is that a good choice? I mean, I don't know what other options you had, but yeah, I think that's a pretty good, pretty solid option to have this week.
Yeah, falling back from Mahomes to Dak is a pretty solid choice, especially if you're debating between Pollard and Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah, because I have Dak at QB8 this week, so solid choice. Matt Collins or Tyquan Thornton again. I'm gonna go Tyquan Thornton here.
I wish we had news on Darren Waller. It sounds like he's going to be a game time decision with the hammy, but I think Tyquan Thornton is starting to be more involved in this offense, so I will also lean Tyquan.
All right, and then lastly, we got Harrison Bryant or Hayden Hurst.
I'm gonna go Harrison Bryant here.
I agree.
I like that. I like that game on Monday Night Football. Just in general, I mean, it obviously sucks that Jamar Chase is going to be out for several weeks. Although I don't understand how you can have a torn labrum and a hairline fracture in your hip and not go on IR. Like that just sounds. Those things just don't seem to add up to me. But I do like Harrison Bryant. He's the only healthy tight end that the Browns have at this point.
I think it was a smart choice. I know David Njoku all week was talking about how he thought he might be able to play. I thought that was they're going bye next week. Just sit at this one out. It doesn't sound like that injury is all that serious, so that's good news. So you'll be able to get. Sounds like we should be able to get David Njoku back after their bye after this week. So also Darren Waller just announced about 5 minutes ago he is inactive today, so he is out. So there is that. And then Walito, Darren Waller's inactive. Yep. Appreciate you, Walito. Right. Appreciate the $5 super chat.
Right on cue, our guy.
Yeah, I appreciate. Hey, he came in, called the bullpen this Wednesday for the start sit show. Came in and held down Cody's spot. So appreciate.
Probably didn't do as well, but I appreciate Walito stepping up. No matter what. Still dealing with some of the cold. It's a blessing and a curse for any of the parents out there who are able to send their kids to school because you get the break, you don't have to pay a babysitter, but then you get all the germs that they bring home. And Carson is finally getting over his, but now Katie and I are sick. So
yeah, that's the worst part about sending them daycare.
Yeah,
pluses and minuses. So Aiden, Rockman is in the chat again. Dak or Tua? I'm gonna go Tua.
I'm gonna go Tua as well.
I like Tua this week. Yeah, I have him at 5. This matchup against Detroit looks really, really tasty, and Detroit's defense is terrible. So Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki are all elite plays this week too, along with Raheem Mostert.
Raheem Mostert, yep.
Noel, bench 1, Ayuk, Pittman, Dameon Pierce.
Oh boy, I'm gonna bench Ayuk.
This one's close because Deebo Samuel is out, and so it really kind of opens up things. And I don't even know if Juwan Jennings is going to play either. And so if he doesn't play, I mean, you're looking at Danny Gray and obviously Brandon Ayuk and then Kittle. So, I mean, Ayuk could see a massive workload today. And so it's tough with Pittman, and it's hard to know what to expect from Sam Ehlinger at quarterback. And so, though I will say that the Colts are still favored in this game, even with Sam Ehlinger. And so that's kind of an interesting thing there. But I think I would sit Pittman just because I just don't know what to expect. I think it's possible he could be what we see a lot of rookie quarterbacks do or young quarterbacks that was at a rookie draft last year, but in his first start where they just pepper one guy and that very well could be what happens with Michael Pittman. But I could also see this being between the two teams where they um, really run the football a lot too. And so it's kind of a really slow pace, kind of ugly type of game. And maybe they ask him to throw like 20 times or less. Very well could be possible as well, and really lean on Jonathan Taylor. So, but yeah, I slightly lean towards sitting Pittman in this one, just out of uncertainty.
Yeah, basically what you said is just how I also feel about feel about Ayuk, except I feel like there could potentially be more volume toward Pittman.
Yeah, and that's possible. I think it's really close between the two of those.
Yeah.
Emilio, Cooks, Henderson, Monty at flex, full PPR. I don't know. I think I would. I don't really love any of these options.
Shout out to Walito. Let's roll with Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, but the only thing that worries me with him is because he's on the trading block, do they not really utilize him all that much? Because if you're trying to move him, do you really want him to get hurt?
Nico Collins is out, correct?
Yeah, Nico Collins is out, and Brandon Cooks is expected to play. He's listed as
I just feel like
questionable.
they don't have much of a choice. I mean, Tyler Johnson. I don't even know who else is on that on that Houston depth chart as far as receivers go.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Darrell Henderson just because I think opportunity is going to be there. We know that this San Francisco defense is extremely banged up. He's going to be involved in the passing game as well. And so, coming off bye, I think I would just lean towards Darrell Henderson just being more involved. Probably, 80% of the opportunities in this backfield, at least probably today in this matchup against the 49ers. So I just can't trust Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks hasn't been good anyways, really, this year. And so, yeah, I think I would just lean towards Darrell Henderson. I think he's a little bit more of the safer option.
Yeah, so you highlight Brandon Cooks and you drive that price up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think they really at this point need to do that, but it's possible. But Joseph, hey fellas, should I drop Pitts or Tanyan in case Waller is out, or drop Pitts for Tanyan? No, just start Pitts.
Yeah.
This is actually a really good matchup for the Falcons against this Panthers defense, this Panthers team. But the frustrating thing is obviously Arthur Smith will just never throw the ball. I mean, we saw it last week; they were down by like 20
entire game.
Yeah, and they still no, we're just going to run the ball. But I still think I would go Pitts here. I'm not going to drop Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning to you as well. True Teller, who you guys like at QB? I got Geno, and McGough is on waiver. I got an open spot on bench.
I would not use that open spot on a quarterback. I think this is also a one QB league for Truth. So I'm just gonna rock with Geno.
Yeah, I would too. I have Geno at 11, and I have Goff at 14. So, yeah, I think I would agree. I think I would just rock. And it sounds like DK Metcalf is going to play today.
So weird.
Yeah, something I didn't expect to see, but Bob Hockenson or Patty Fry? I'm going to go Hockenson.
I'm going to go Hockenson as well. Game just sets up better from an overall game script for Detroit. Not that Pittsburgh isn't going to be trailing or throwing the ball a ton, but the Philly linebackers have gotten better at covering tight ends, and we're looking at that moved up. Can't believe that line got bumped up. So now that total is at 52. So we're looking at a 11.5 point difference in game total between the Pennsylvania matchup and the Miami Detroit matchup.
Yeah. Another one here: Michael Pittman or Dameon Pierce PPR, and I need Pittman, Hayden Hurst, Taysom Hill PPR. I'm gonna go Dameon Pierce here on the first one.
Yep.
And on the second one with this one, I would go. This one I actually would go Patty Fry.
Yeah, I go Patty Fry as well.
Alejandro Terry or Jacoby Myers at flex. I'm gonna go with Scary Terry on this one. We kind of saw it last week. That is, um, he's definitely Taylor Heineke's favorite target, and so I expecting anywhere from probably 8 to 10 targets, I think is fair. Jacoby Myers, I don't know what they're going to do with this New England situation right now. I mean, with you never know. Is Mac Jones going to play the whole game? Is it going to be Bailey Zappi? Like who knows? I like Jacoby Myers. He's still a solid wide receiver 3 this week, but I actually have Terry as a wide receiver 2, so I would go with him.
Yeah, I like Terry as well. Thought you were going to go with your boy Jacoby.
They're not that far off. So I right now I have Jacoby Myers at 27 and I have Terry at 23 in my wide receiver rankings. So they're not that far away. Truth again, I got a funny feeling Malik Willis is going to do work this week. Should I get him before the breakout, but keep on bench or Isaiah McKenzie? I don't know what they're going to do. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, even if Malik Willis balls out, I think they just go right back to Tannehill as soon as he's healthy. Like, I don't think this is a situation where he's going to have his job taken away from him.
I don't either. Unless this is some sort of a long-term injury, or at least, but I don't think it is, because it sounded like there was a shot for Ryan Tannehill to play all the way up. So I don't think it's something that's going to be really long-term. So even if he just goes out and crushes it, which I don't expect him to, I expect this to be where Derrick Henry could see 35, 40 carries in this game, and that's what they do, and they do some RPO stuff with Malik Willis. Like, I'm not leaning that direction. That's what's going to happen, and so no, I don't think you need to go out and pick up Malik Willis. Like, if I was going to pick somebody up, honestly, I would rather pick up Sam Ehlinger than. Not saying you should. That's what you should do, but if you absolutely needed a quarterback, like, I would probably rather go Sam Ehlinger, because Sam Ehlinger, as we know, something that we've talked about a lot this week, has had over 2,000 rushing yards in college, over 30 rushing touchdowns in college. Is very mobile, and so, but we know he's the starter moving forward, and he provides a lot of that same upside that at least similar to Malik Willis in terms of that type of running that type of system and running the football. But I don't think you need to pick up either of them, and I would probably just pick up Isaiah McKenzie. Carson, what's going on this morning? I know you can't hear me. Hope you're doing well. Happy birthday, buddy.
He said happy birthday. What do you say?
Happy birthday.
Supposed to say thank you.
Huh?
Kevin said happy birthday. Say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's funny. Overcome. What to do with Waller out? Top ads are Dawson Knox, Irv Smith, Schultz, Juwan Johnson, and Hunter Henry. It's a lot of good options.
Yeah.
Because I really like Irv Smith this week.
He would be my choice as well. Typically, it would be Schultz, but I'm just so sick and tired of the, no injury designation. Then he goes out, he, plays a series, and you don't see him for a series, back in, back out. So I do like Schultz in general better, but I think, Irv Smith is the play here.
Yeah, I have Irv Smith at 10, so I have him as a top 10 option this week. So, yeah, I think I would go with Irv. Though I think Juwan Johnson's kind of a sneaky play, but I'm not playing him over Irv Smith. And then Dalton Schultz, I think is also a pretty solid play too. But again, I would probably just lean towards Irv Smith. But I have both of them as tight end ones this week. So, where we at?
Got it.
Oh, there's not.
I'm just going, yeah.
I just don't think there. I get it, and it's not a bad matchup either, obviously, against the Texans, but I'm starting Kirk Cousins. I love this matchup against this Cardinals defense that is not good at all, and I think Kirk Cousins 300 yards and a couple touchdowns is definitely in play this week. I don't know what to expect from Malik Willis.
That is correct.
1 KC dot at flex. Should I start Benjamin or Adam Thielen? I'm going to go here.
For some reason, Thielen did not enter my mind, and I thought we were going Troutman here. I was like, Adam Troutman, all right. But no, either way, this would be, Benjamin for me, whether it was Thielen or Troutman.
Yeah, it's a pretty good matchup against the Vikings. The Vikings' run defense isn't very good. He's somebody that
He's looked good, too.
Yeah, he played pretty well last week. I mean, he lost a little bit of opportunity to Keontae Ingram, but yeah, I think Benjamin. He's the pass catcher as well. So if they do fall behind, you're not worried about being game scripted out or anything like that. So yeah, I think it's a pretty solid matchup for him today. And then CB need 1 running back, 1 flex. Swift, Foreman, Dameon Pierce, Gabe Davis, Amon-Ra St. Brown. My
man.
I'm going to go DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah. That's where I'm looking as well. I'd like to get Pearson. I mean, it's not a fantastic matchup, but just from an opportunity standpoint, but I'm going to double down the Lions.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Lucky Bird Light. D-Hop or A.J. Brown, Mixon or Chubb? I'm going to go A.J. Brown. But this is one of those situations like, why not both? But then again, I'm sure where you drafted DeAndre Hopkins, you probably drafted him later, and so you probably have some better wide receiver options. So,
yeah, I would like to know, Lucky Bird, if we can get both of those receivers in, because I have D-Hop right behind A.J. Brown this week, so I will go A.J. Brown, but I really like, obviously, I still ranked D-Hop as a top 12 option last week, but I was a little hesitant, just wondering, is he going to get a full complement of snaps? I think he played all but 3. Dude was just absolutely pummeled with targets as well, like the way that matchup sets up. And then on the second one, I'm going to go Chubb.
No help to you, Lucky Bird, because I'm going to go with Joe Mixon here. I have Joe Mixon at 7, and I have Nick Chubb at 11. So just a little nervous about game script and how this game could play out. And so even with Jamar Chase out, I still think the Bengals, especially, they just feel like they're rolling right now, and with all their weapons they have, I just slightly lean towards Joe Mixon here in this matchup at Cleveland. So yeah, that's too close though. I like both those options. I know, like, I need to put a light upstairs, like live, like shut your mouth.
The recording light is on.
Start Goff or Prescott. I'm going Dak.
Going Dak.
And then Truth Teller, I trade Aaron Jones for Jonathan Taylor this week. Yeah, great job. Bought low. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, it's frustrating with him because all the opportunities there. Like it's not like he's like, that Nyheim Hines just seeing all this more opportunity than he is and taken away from his touches. Like he's still seeing 18.2 carries per game and 5 targets per game. That's like elite usage. He's still 9th in opportunity share. Like eventually this is going to turn around. And the biggest problem with him has been touchdowns because he only has 1. And so if this offense can get better, and even if Sam Ehlinger is that option, and running quarterbacks tend to do help because they, forces defenses to not just, especially with their offensive line. I think if the Colts are smart, because 2 of their offensive linemen are just terrible. But I think if they're smart, they get a lot of this RPO game going, roll them out, and get them moving outside of the pocket. I think then I think you could see this offense actually maybe get a little bit better, but we'll see. But yeah, I think this is a great buy low option here on Jonathan Taylor.
And a sell high on the other side of that.
Yeah.
Unexpected. Is this one of your players?
Yeah. Right now you need to be outside, taking some reps, okay? Maybe get in the garage, grab the tee, get some tee work in, okay? You don't need to be on here, right now. number 25. See who that is. I'm not gonna say his name. Probably shouldn't say his name. CB need wide receiver one flex. Lamb, Amon-Ra, Chubb, Dameon Pierce, Stevenson.
I'm gonna PPR. Man, I want to say Lamb and Amon-Ra, but I think I'm gonna go Lamb and Chubb. Again, it's another one of these instances where I don't want to sit Amon-Ra for everything we've been talking about, the projected game script, playing from behind, targets, all that. But I'll go, excuse me, I'll go Lamb and Chubb.
I'll say this: the Bears, as I was kind of digging through things, the Bears have actually been pretty good against opposing, especially in coverage. They rank top 10 in PFF's coverage grade on the season, and they've done a pretty good job, through the air. It's been on the ground is where they've really struggled. I still think CeeDee Lamb is a pretty good option this week. I have CeeDee Lamb at 11, but I have Amon-Ra St. Brown at 6 this week. So I'm going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then on the flex, I'm going to go with Ramondre Stevenson.
Wow. All
right. C-Crip, start D-Hop and Olave over Mostert and Devonta, full PPR.
Man, I really like Mostert this week.
I do too, and I think he asked this question last night in our Discord, and I believe, and I was struggled with this question because it is tough because I love all three of them as options, but I still think I would go. I think I would go D-Hop and Olave over Mostert.
Yeah, I think so too. It would obviously be Olave who I'd pull out for Mostert if I did that. Man, that's so close. I just like the upside that Olave brings. And that is going to be Amon-Ra over Olave at the flex.
Yeah, I agree. Porter, Eagles or Raiders? This is Eagles, and it's pretty simple. C-Crip, sorry, QB question. Dalton or Danny Dimes? This is Daniel Jones for me.
Yeah, Danny Dimes, get him in there. I want to know what's going on in New Orleans with Dalton still being the starter, even with Jameis healthy. Odd.
Dennis Allen's a terrible coach. He's from the moment they made that hire, I said this is a terrible coach to hire because he was terrible when he was head coach before. I think it was with the Raiders, and so this was just a terrible. I mean, I thought it was a terrible choice. And Jameis Winston is better than Andy Dalton is, and I just don't understand the move and why they're sticking with him. But it is what it is, I guess, at this point. And yeah, I guess you're missing Sean Payton, who I'm about 95% positive Sean Payton's going to be the next head coach of the Chargers, which I'll love to see that next year.
Yeah.
Eric Pittman or Terry full PPR?
Still going to rock with Pittman here.
I would agree on that. Yes, this is where I would go, Michael Pittman. Foxborough News. Brian Robinson or Isaiah McKenzie in flex, 16-man, half PPR.
Man. Think of it as a 16-man. I'm just going to swing for the upside, and I'm just going to go McKenzie. You still have Brian Robinson splitting touches and carries with two other backs with McKissick getting involved in the passing game. Looking at a 39.5 point total the Colts' run defense has still been pretty good this year. And then on the other side of that, McKenzie, we thought was going to be taking over that slot receiver position, but he's actually been splitting some reps with Jameson Crowder when he was healthy. Shakir, after he played well, was getting involved even when McKenzie came back. But still, looking at a 6.5 point difference here on the total, I'll just go with McKenzie.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with you on that. Kyler Murray or Derek Carr. This is Kyler Murray for me.
Kyler.
Yeah. Will Dissly or Matt Collins? Why are these the options? I guess, but I would go Matt Collins.
Yeah, same.
Overcome again, Lamb or Amon-Ra St. Brown for me.
Yeah, we're split, but I like Amon-Ra, so if it helps with consensus, I will also go Amon-Ra.
Laura and Jim Cooperman. In a PPR, need one flex. Darius Slayton, Traquan, or Khalil Herbert. I'm gonna go with Darius Slayton here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree.
I mean, Slayton the last couple of weeks. So week 5 he scored 13.9, saw 7 targets, 6 catches, 79 yards, and then week 7 against Jacksonville, another 6 targets. He's starting to see his routes go up as well. He 53.6% week 5, 64.5% week 6, and then 77.4% route share last week against Jacksonville. 3 catches last week, 58 yards and a score. I just think he's probably the safest option you have. I like Khalil Herbert. I'm hoping that David Montgomery does get traded because then Khalil Herbert becomes a really solid top 15 running back rest of season. But right now, this week, I'm going to go Darius Slayton in this spot.
Yeah, agreed.
I was busy this week and I did another trade. I traded Kenneth for Swift and Cooper. Thoughts? I think that is a great trade.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, because
to get Cooper on top.
Yeah, and Swift, like I said, I think could be a top 5 running back rest of the season. The biggest question is just can he stay healthy, right? That's always been the biggest problem with him. And like Kenneth Walker obviously has been excellent the last 2 weeks, right? But they've been played with such positive game scripts that they've been able to do that. We haven't seen what this is going to look like if they fall behind, and that's been the problem. And their schedule is not great rest of season, like it's really not. And that's why I've kind of been saying that I felt like Kenneth Walker is a really solid sell high right now because their schedule is not great. He's not involved in the passing game at all. He saw 3 targets this entire year. He's basically playing what Rashad Penny did last year, push down the stretch, right? But if you look at it past today, I mean, you have the Cardinals, which we can argue one way or the other whether that's a great matchup or not. I don't really think it's scary. But then you get the Buccaneers after that. You still get the Raiders, the Rams. The Chiefs are still on this schedule that they're going to have to face, and that is in the fantasy playoffs, like 49ers and the week before the fantasy playoffs. So like it's not great for Kenneth Walker in terms of scheduling the rest of the way. And so, like, if you could sell high on Kenneth Walker, I would have no problem with doing so. I think he is somebody, and I'm not saying you're just running out try to trade him, but if you can get a pretty nice haul back for him, which I think with the way he's played right now, I think you could even offer like Kenneth Walker for Jonathan Taylor, and I think you could get that done. And I think with as well as Kenneth Walker has played. And so, because this is another really good matchup for him this week against the Giants. But past this, I think this is when things are going to kind of open up a little bit, or things are going to change a little bit, and we'll really have to see how this is going to play out if they fall behind and they start having to play for negative game scripts. So, anyways, that's my Kenneth Walker rant. Is St. Brown for Kupp still a solid trade? Yeah, if you're getting Cooper Cup, it's a great trade.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to add something on top of that though. Um, and sending St. Brown and Debo, you're gonna have to get something in return on top of Cup. Like that for me would be too much to send for Cooper Cup. Um, I mean, I guess it would depend on what you had at tight end because I not super interested in James Robinson. Dallas Goddard could be interesting if this other team just traded for Kelsey. So I think it would depend on what you had at tight end, truth. But if you're St.
So
Brown
you
isn't
said
going to get it done solo, and then adding Debo on top, you're going to need a piece in return.
so it sounds like he has Dallas Goddard.
I think truth is saying that Dallas at tight end on the other team.
Right, he's saying the other team has Dallas Goddard, right? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm. So it would
Yeah.
depend to
So
me what truth had at tight end.
right, and so I mean, I think going, if you wanted to do St. Brown and cut or St. Brown for that, I think what you could end up doing. Oh, he has Patty Fry and Joki, so you'd get an upgrade there. Now, yeah, I don't necessarily know if you need both of them, but I mean, maybe you offer that trade, but I would add in James Robinson and Dallas Goddard. Like, I think James Robinson could be fine. Like, I think he could be like a low end RB2 rest of season. Because, like I said, it just doesn't seem like the Jets are sold at all on Michael Carter. Like, they have pretty much all out told us like every single time that they are looking for somebody else, and he isn't that guy. And so them trading for James Robinson, not that they gave up a whole lot to go get him, to acquire him, but I think they easily could have just picked up somebody off waivers or whatever, or waivers, or off of through free agency. There's plenty of running backs out there that they probably could have taken a look at, and bringing in James Robinson, I think, tells me that he's probably going to end up being the lead back here in this offense. So maybe doing something like that where you're getting a tight end back. I think you're getting an upgrade at tight end with Dallas Goddard, and James Robinson can be a nice bench stash or somebody that in a pinch that you could utilize. So. CB need a defense. Titans or Bengals?
I'm gonna go Titans.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's right.
The Titans' weakness on defense is their passing defense, and obviously the Houston offense doesn't strike much fear into anybody when it comes to the passing game. So the Browns, even though they're sitting at 2-5, they're a top 10 offense in both points scored and total yards.
I did not know we were going to be debating this today, but here we are. Kid MacArthur, Aaron Rodgers, or Malik Willis?
Not only did I not think we'd be debating this, this is also closer than it should be.
Yeah, because I actually have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback 21, I think. Yeah, QB 20 is where I have him.
Where do you have Malik?
I have him at quarterback 22 or 23.
Man, I really want to say Malik.
I think I would still go Aaron Rodgers here. I know it's kind of not great matchup, obviously, especially on the road against Buffalo, Sunday Night Football, but I don't know.
Allen Lazard is out.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'm going Malik Willis.
Hey, let it ride. Trade Waller for Hawkinson. I'm going to say yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Ken again, Jacoby or Dallas Goddard, half-point PPR. I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers.
This is close. I will lean. I'm gonna go Goddard on this one. But I do like Jacoby.
Yeah, I don't hate it. If you want to, if you want to go with Dallas Goedert, I'm fine with that. I think he has a really good upside here against this Pittsburgh team. It's more so for me. This feels like a game where they just get up really quickly and then they just run the shit out of the ball. They just run the ball, right? And so that's what only thing that would concern me with just overall usage. But obviously they still have to get there somehow. So Owen, Damian Pierce, or Raheem Mostert. I'm actually going to go with Raheem Mostert on this one.
Let's go. I agree. I really like most of this week.
Yeah. Shades after a trade for JT. I have a nice problem. Standard scoring. Need 2 running backs and a flex. Barkley, Kamara, JT, and Pollard. We're going to go Pollard, Barkley, and Kamara.
Man, how'd you get JT and you still have Barkley and Kamara on that team? Standard, I will go JT Man, really want to get Pollard in there. I'm going to go JT, Barkley, and Kamara.
Yeah, I just can't sit Tony Pollard in this matchup. Like I said, I have Tony Pollard at 6 this week. I have Saquon at 2, Pollard at 6, and then I have Kamara at 10 with JT at 12. So I just can't.
But your body has also been preparing for this moment for quite some time as well.
It does feel good. It feels good. It feels good. They finally, my boy Tony Pollard gets his second career start. The last time he did it, I think he scored like 30. I think is what it was. So great matchup. Chicago is not very good against the run, so absolutely love it. But also Shades, excellent work with this. I do not want to be. Well, I guess it's easier on most weeks because Pollard's not going to be
Pearson Stevenson for JT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well done.
Michael Brown, pick 2. Damian Pierce, Aaron Jones, or Amon-Ra St. Brown. My other starters are Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, and Kamara. I'm going to go Damian Pierce and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Me too. And I was right last week with Aaron Jones on the ground. But what I did not see coming was the 10 targets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we already got that. Triple cross. Dalton Schultz or Irv Smith. I need CD Pollard starting right now. Worried about Cowboys. What do y'all think? I'm going to go Irv Smith.
Yep.
We're swerving with Irv. Oh.
Want to triple down on the triple cross with Dallas there.
Yeah. Overcome with a super chat again. Appreciate you. As always. St. Brown, Singletary, Hopkins for Lamb. DJ Moore. I'm guessing that's Dalvin Cook.
I would assume so, yeah. Give me the St. Brown side. I'm just pretty down on DJ Moore. I know he finally stepped up last week. I guess also this would depend on if you're getting the Cook side, what you have at running back.
Yeah, it is Dalvin. Okay, he said it's Dalvin. Yeah, figured it was, but I think I would go. I would probably prefer the Lamb, DJ Moore, Dalvin Cook side. Just because, I don't know if the Bills are going to trade for a running. I mean, it seems like they're really interested in trading for a running back, which would just completely muddy everything without Devin Singletary. So getting out of that quickly. Yeah. Whether DJ Moore stays or he gets traded, if he stays, there's nobody else there for them to throw the ball to. I mean, Terrace Marshall's now the number 2 wide receiver, who I am playing in DFS a little bit this week. I'm crazy, but I'm going to do that. But And so there's nobody else there, and so they're going to have to, he's going to see a ton of targets every single week. And regardless, I know it's not the best. They're always going to be playing from behind. They're going to be trailing. They're going to have to throw the ball, and so I just think that DJ Moore, I think, is actually a pretty solid buy low, and then Dalvin Cook is Dalvin Cook, and so obviously he's a major upgrade over obviously Devin Singletary in this trade, and so I know you're probably giving up a little bit in wide receiver, but getting CeeDee Lamb back I think helps that. And so, I would prefer going with the Cook side. And like I said, like this could be the best time to trade him, right? It's Devin Singletary, because if the Rams trade for a running back, Devin Singletary's, unless they trade for like Cam Akers, he's probably going to be not seeing this type of opportunity that he's been seeing.
Overcome. Which side would you be getting? And if it is the Dalvin side, who else do you have at running back?
Yeah.
Did we get this one from JT?
I don't think so. I skipped down. We might have skipped a few. Did we get those? Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Or any possible. Well, Triple Cross, I guess, had a follow up to any possible waiver ad for tight end. I would stick with Irv Smith. I think he's got a solid
with Irv. Yeah.
Okay. So then Josh, we're back up to him. Eno, Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson, need 2 in standard. I'm going to go Eno and Aaron Jones.
Yeah, me too.
Would you start McLaurin over Slayton? Yes, I would.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Did we get this other one from Ken?
No, I don't think we did.
I don't think we got this one.
Yeah. Foreman, Benjamin, Aaron Jones, PPR. I'm going to go Eno.
Going Eno as well. Obviously, with Chuba being ruled out, that opens things up for Foreman, but I don't know. I feel like last week could have been like a blip on the radar in terms of the effectiveness of that run game. Like Tampa Bay just seems to be a team that's just down and out entirely across the board, starting with Tom Brady, but I would still lean Eno here.
I know we don't have a ton of time, obviously, with where we are at in the week, but something I was thinking about too, just because I'm talking about the Singletary thing. Like the things I've been trying to do this week is going out and trying to acquire players who I think could, like Khalil Herbert, for example, right? Khalil Herbert has value anyways, no matter what. He has standalone value in this offense. But if David Montgomery got traded, his value skyrockets, right? So like he's very easy to acquire right now. He doesn't cost nearly as much to get him. Versus after a trade were to happen, or on the so like that's one of the things that I've been trying to do this week is identify some of this stuff we've been hearing about, some of these guys getting traded that you could buy low on right now before Tuesday's trade deadline. And I'll say this, like when we first started hearing about trades and stuff like that, a couple weeks ago, I was like, none of these trades are going to happen. It's all smoke. We hear this all the time. There's no way anybody's going to get traded, and like. Things are different. And I was listening to a podcast recently, and they were talking about how teams are just more aggressive now, and they're not really worried about dead cap. They're not worried about dead money. They'll figure it out down the line. And so we're starting to see a shift here in terms of the trade deadline, which is awesome. I hope we get more trades. And, that's not something we typically see from the NFL because a lot of teams just don't want to eat dead cap. And now teams just don't care anymore as much about it. It's not as big of a deal. I mean, we're seeing teams eat massive amount of dead cap money to move players. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's dead cap is a lot. Obviously, they got a pretty good, pretty nice, sizable haul back for him, and I think that's what we're starting to see. So hopefully, this continues and we start to see more and more trades. So, anyways, just wanted to say that. But Justin Pierce, Dalvin Cook, or Amon-Ra in full PPR, they need 2. I'm gonna go Dalvin and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Same. Yeah, I was just looking. Devontae Adams, Dalton Schultz are officially active. Zeke and Darren Waller are out.
Okay, that is shades again. Tanyan or Irv Smith? I'm gonna go Irv.
I'm gonna go Irv as well. I mean, I like the position Tanyan's in. Obviously, projected to be playing from behind. No Allen Lazard, but the Bills have been pretty solid against tight ends on the season.
Yeah. True Taylor, how you guys feeling about Kamara and Cook for rest of season? These are my only 2 running backs on my roster. Do I need to get one? Or ride it out and hope Cook don't get hurt?
I mean, I think this could be one of those situations like you were just talking about, Kev, right? With like trying to go get somebody like a Khalil Herbert, someone who has standalone value, and then if Monty were to get traded, his value would just skyrocket. So I'd rather make like a smaller trade like that than to try and let's say that you're stronger at wide receiver, instead of taking a hit at wide receiver to try and make up for to get an RB3 essentially. I'd rather make a smaller move.
Yeah, and it's something we talk about too with this is that I mean, instead of like trying to go to the top of the spectrum of getting another running back or something like that, trading for some of these less expensive running backs, I think is the way to go. And even like would you even try to? I mean, think about trading for a Cam Akers just to see what happens. It wouldn't cost anything. I mean, you could trade him for a bag of peanuts, or just because if he were to get traded to the right spot, like I think then, you never, I mean, I think that would be a very low risk investment. I'm not trading up anything of value for him, but I think even somebody on your
Yeah.
bench, you could easily move for him. And, if he hasn't already been cut, probably, I'm sure in a lot of leagues he's been dropped. And if he was available, I would think about picking him up just before. And maybe it's just a couple of day thing. If you pick him up before lock today, see what happens see if he gets moved. Because he's either, no matter what, he's either getting traded or he's getting cut no matter what. Like he's gone. He's going to be on a different roster here very shortly. They've sat him again this week. He's not doing anything. There's little chance that they hold on to him after this. And so I wouldn't mind seeing at least where he goes, because if he goes into a good spot, let's say he did go to Buffalo, yes, Devin Singletary is still there, but there's definitely the path for him to be able to overtake somebody like Devin Singletary if things worked out. So I don't mind, taking a low risk investment shot on something like that too, who's not going to cost you anything, and just kind of see what happens.
Yeah, and then to add on to that too, like stashing somebody like Kyren Williams if they're still available. He was activated off the IR, or I guess the window. He was designated to return, so that the window for him to be activated starts. Yeah, it's a 21-day window. So if you have the roster space, I went out and stashed Kyren on a couple of teams.
No, absolutely, yeah. And I'm just waiting though for the Rams to trade for somebody and then just completely kill Kyren Rams value. All the excitement, because
Yeah.
Because they've been rumored, with the Alvin Kamara stuff, and I've heard some of the stuff about like the Eagles are interested in trading for Alvin Kamara, but they want their first round pick back, and I'm like, if the Eagles did that, they would be the dumbest franchise ever. Of all the great things they've done over the last couple of years to build this up, to then trade what looks like a top 5 pick for Alvin Kamara would be the dumbest thing in the world. I don't think that's probably true. I think that's probably the Saints trying to drive up his value. But yeah, that would be incredibly stupid for the Eagles to do something like that. They don't even need Alvin Kamara at this point. And then Overcome said he'd be getting the St. Brown side. So yeah, I am all aboard that. I want that side.
You wanted the other side, right? You wanted the.
Oh no, excuse me. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I wasn't. I scrolled back up and looked at the same time. Yeah, no, I don't want that side. I want the side. I want your players. I wouldn't.
And then went on to say the running backs aren't solid. So if your running backs aren't solid and you're giving up Cook, I'm probably just staying pat.
Yeah, and you're not. I mean, getting Devin Singletary, who once again, if the Bills trade for a running back, takes a big hit.
And Singletary's been up and down as well with his production. He's had some of those big boom games, and he's also completely disappeared.
Which is what's going to happen when you have Josh Allen quarterback, because his ability to run the football, he's got to take away opportunities that way. So yeah. Kicks for Mike for RB2 and flex. Mostert, Pierce, Pittman. I'm going to go with Mostert and Pierce.
Mostert and Pittman for Yeah, I'm gonna go Mostert and Pittman. In a different league, Mostert, Pollard, or Pierce. It's gonna be Mostert and Pollard for me.
Yeah, agreed.
No problem. Andrea, appreciate you all rocking with us. Hit us with a sub and a like if you have yet to do so. We'll be here for another half hour. approximately. So any questions you have, keep dropping them in. Actually, we're keeping up with them this time, Kev. Feels good not scrolling 30 questions down. AJ Evans, do you believe in Jones or Goff? Believe is, is probably a word I wouldn't use with these two quarterbacks, but I do think that they're both in good spots this week. I prefer Goff, but I feel like you probably prefer Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I do prefer Daniel Jones. But it's close between the both of those. I think that Goff definitely has the higher ceiling for sure in this matchup. They're playing from behind. Miami's has really struggled to stop opposing passing offenses this year, and so in a game that could be an absolute shootout, like Jared Goff definitely has the ceiling. So if that's what you're shooting for, yep, he's that guy. But as we've seen this year, games that we think that are going to go nuclear, a lot of times don't. And then if this game turns into, much less than that, 24-17 type game, then that's going to be a problem. And so Daniel Jones, what he brings to the table is his rushing ability, averaging over 50 rushing yards per game. He's seeing, 8 to 9 carries per game. And so that's what I like about Daniel Jones. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to go out and throw for 300 yards today. They don't really have the pass catchers to do it, but his upside comes in the form of his legs and what he's been able to do on the ground. So I think Daniel Jones is a little bit safer, but Jared Goff definitely has the ceiling over him. So if you're looking for straight ceiling, that's who I would go with. Triple cross. So lucky Irv Smith got picked up. Oh, so my luck, not he's lucky.
Yeah.
So my luck, Irv got picked up. I don't have many options left, like Hunter Bryant, maybe Lance Thomas.
Logan.
Oh, threw me off.
Yeah. I'm going to go Harrison Bryant out of those options.
How about I reach into my pocket and tell you about another option that is going to be a little bit off the board, but in a terrific matchup. Chris Mayark from the Giants. Dan Bellinger is out. The Seahawks are absolutely dreadful against opposing tight ends. He played last week, saw 2 targets, 21 yards. Like I said, very bad matchup. There's not a lot of options here for the Giants to throw the ball to. I think he is a very sneaky option. So people are in a really deep league. I think he's somebody that is definitely in play. But I would slightly lean towards Harris Bryant, though, with the option that you have there. But I just want to mention that.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with Harrison Bryant. Bengals are middle of the road in terms of points per game given up to tight ends, but they have given up some big games. I mean, 5 for 75 to Patty Fry week 1, 8 for 84 to Tyler Conklin, who just completely disappeared. Then obviously Andrews lit him up as well, 8 for 89. And even somebody like Juwan Johnson went 4 for 41 just 2 weeks ago.
Let's see. What was the next one? WB, Slayton or Josh Reynolds, full PPR. I'm going to go Josh Reynolds.
Ooh. I'm going to go Darius Slayton.
We're just not helping people today.
I just feel like if everybody is healthy for Detroit, Reynolds takes a bit of a backseat. I mean, we have seen him produce in some spots with everybody healthy, but I just think that the volume for Slayton is probably a little bit more bankable at this point.
Yeah. And can we talk about how good Travis Etienne has been? I'm just sitting here watching what he's been doing. Just crushing right now. He has almost 140 rushing yards, over 150 total yards. Can we get this man in the end zone? I was so frustrated earlier. Whatever, they were on the 1 yard line, first and goal at the 1, and they didn't even run. They just threw the ball and Trevor Lawrence to a pick. Anyways, did we answer this? Backup running back's target for trade deadline. I mean, I feel like we kind of talked about it.
Yeah, I don't think you answered directly, but we were giving some ideas. I mean, I even think somebody like a Miles Sanders, who has been pretty solid all year long, but like I feel like he just doesn't carry that trade value that a lot of people would expect.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Kareem Hunt would be an obvious name. Dearness Johnson, if he's sitting out there, you could actually just go and pick him up right now
Stash.
and
Yeah.
stash because if something, like we saw last year, if when Kareem Hunt was out, Dearness Johnson got opportunities. He's going to get opportunities if Kareem Hunt gets traded. It sounds very likely that Kareem Hunt's going to get traded. Um, and so I think whether trading for Kareem Hunt or picking up Dearness Johnson are two things that I would definitely have interest in right now. And then we already talked about Khalil Herbert, adding him. Cam Akers is a really low cost investment of somebody you could add. Um, I guess Mark Ingram would be someone else you could pick up. I know we're not going to have time. Uh, waivers will run by the time or waivers won't run by the time trade goes through. The trade deadline ends, so there's going to be a lot of things that change. So maybe adding like a Mark Ingram right now, again, if you have the available bench spot, because if Kamara were to get traded, he's going to be the lead back here in this offense, unless they include another running back in it. But he's going to be that guy. And so even I know it sounds kind of gross, but Mark Ingram would probably be that guy that you should be looking to add into your bench. And again, this is all just for just the next couple of days to see what happens if these guys get traded. So Mark Ingram would be another name I think you could look to add to your roster right now. And then it's kind of all that stands out to me right now of guys that I would definitely, Kyron Williams would be the other one as well when he comes back. I think he's also worthy of adding to your bench right now, just to kind of see how everything plays out on Tuesday. So WB again, need 2 full PPR. Rondale. Say that 3 times fast. Rondale, Mooney, Van Jefferson, Deontay, and Drake London.
Man, this is a group here.
I'm gonna go Wandale. Love him. He's the wide receiver 1 now for the Giants. So I'm gonna go with him, and then I'm gonna go with from there. I'm gonna go with Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Deontay was the guy I was looking at. It just sucks that Drake London, after a really promising 3-week stretch, that is kind of all dried up.
Because they won't throw the damn ball. It's so frustrating. Like he is like death for fantasy. Arthur Smith is so.
Especially after they went out and spent the capital that they did. You know what I mean? It's not like they just got lucky with London and Pitts. Just found a diamond in the rough. They were both top 10 picks.
Yeah. It's incredibly stupid. And I don't know if it's because they feel like that they're maybe this should be different if they were 2-5 right now versus where they sit right now. What are they, 4-3? And I think if they win today, they're 5-3 and they're sitting atop first place in the division. So it's they're just trying to hold on. But I don't know. This is one of those this is one of the teams that are not nearly as good as what the record indicates. That they're really probably pretty bad.
A lot of them,
and we're going to see a lot of these teams collapse. Sadly, I think there's some other teams that fans are going to get upset about, like the Giants. I don't think they're nearly as good as what their record indicates. The Jets certainly aren't nearly as good as their record indicates, and a lot of these teams are going to collapse down the second half of down the stretch of the season. But yeah, that's kind of where I would see. And it sucks for London. It has nothing to do with Drake London's talent. Drake London is very, very talented. They should be throwing the ball a hell of a lot more than what they are, instead of feeding Tyler Algier and Caleb Huntley every single game, 30, 40 carries a piece, or not a piece, but combined, versus opening the offense up. And if you don't believe in Marcus Mariota, why don't you give the opportunity to Desmond Ridder and see what he can do?
And it's not like they didn't know that Mariota was likely their starter either. You know what I mean? It's like there was an injury and all of a sudden they had to throw. You knew Mariota was likely your guy. So weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Coaches do a lot of. NFL teams do a lot of dumb stuff sometimes. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, NASCAR, Ramondre or DJ Moore? I'm gonna go Ramondre.
Ramondre as well. Just to touch on this one for AJ, I wouldn't expect him to be too limited. Obviously, they've taken their time with him. It's not like they're rushing him back. So I would expect like a normal workload for DeAndre Swift, and he's been splitting touches with Jamal even whenever he was healthy at the beginning of the year. So I think we can expect what we were getting week 1 and 2 with Swift. Ethan Smith, Cousins, or Willis. We're still going to rock with Kirk Cousins here. We're intrigued by Willis, but as Kev mentioned at the top of the show, this could easily be a 28-30 carry game for Derrick Henry. Mostert or Pollard?
It's Tony Pollard.
Pollard. I really like Mostert this week, but it is Pollard. Antisocial. CD or DJ Moore. This is gonna be Lamb for me.
Agreed. Yeah, 100%.
I don't really believe in Goff or Jones, but all I have to say is Aaron Rodgers in Buffalo. Yeah, I mean, I would start both of those guys over Aaron Rodgers this week. I said I lean Jared Goff. Kev leans Danny Dimes, but I'm fine with Danny Dimes. I just like I like Goff a touch more.
Just imagine if DJ Moore were to get traded to the Packers. I just want to speak that into existence. That's what I want to see happen. But the Packers won't do it, because they're all about developing their guys and everything else. It seems crazy to me that you wouldn't want to surround your 37-year-old, probably only has a few years left in the league, quarterback, with actual talent. Yeah.
So weird how they've treated this whole situation through the draft. I mean, a couple of years ago, taking Jordan Love and then taking going out, and then they're like, oh, hey, sorry, man, sorry, we haven't really given you much help. Here's a couple day 3 tight ends. Does that help?
Yeah, it's
NASCAR. Pittman, Myers, Wandell, Henderson at the flex.
I'm gonna go Michael Pittman.
Pittman for me as well. Truth teller, what if I went to get Kupp and Connor? Well, that will give me third running back, Cameron Cook. I can toss him St. Brown and Debo. Got D-Hop and A.J. Brown at wide receiver.
I don't really love James Conner, but yeah, I mean, it at least gives you another option.
I think you're fine with Kamara and Cook. I would rather just make a smaller trade. Like I'd want to keep St. Brown and Debo. Either that or just give up one of those receivers for a running back straight up. Like if you're sitting there with those 4 receivers, there has to be somebody in your league that needs wide receiver help. Go look at those teams, see if you can make a match at running back. I mean, obviously, getting Kupp is never a bad idea, but it's not like you're sitting here with Stevenson and Miles Sanders. So like you have 2 top 8, top 12 running backs with Kamara and Cook. I'd rather just make a smaller one, especially if you're looking at your third running back. It's not like you're trying to go out there and you're like, hey, I really want to go get Saquon Barkley. You're just looking for some depth to feel better about behind Kamara and Cook. So I'd rather just make a smaller trade.
100%.
Mini Jordan. Lost Breece Hall, desperately running back this week, full PPR. Edmonds, Darrell Williams, Caleb Huntley, Samaje Perine, Gainwell, Blackshear, or Jaylen Warren. I don't love it, but I will go. Is Darrell Williams even is he active? Either way, I like Edmonds here. Obviously, he hasn't been getting a ton of run, but in that matchup against the Lions have been dreadful against the run. So it's, with this kind of group, you're hoping and praying for a touchdown, and I think Edmonds probably gives you the best shot at that.
Darrell Williams is active.
Okay. I'm still going Edmonds.
Just for this week, I'm gonna go Darrell Williams. Yeah, I'm gonna go Darrell Williams.
Sorry, weren't much help there for you from Mini J. Pats, Jets, Titans. Which DST?
I'm gonna go with the Jets.
I'm gonna go with the Titans. Whew. Thought I just clicked out. Mouse got stuck. Pulled the tab down. Oof.
Yeah, that's brutal.
That is tough.
Because Travis Etienne has been
playing well.
very, very good.
Been playing well. Full PPR, we need a flex here for Mini Jordan. Maybe we can help him out here. Dobbs, Mooney, Wandell, or London.
I'm gonna go with Wandale.
We agree. There's some help there for you for Mini Jordan. JJ Keats. Just lost Chase 3 and 4. Stevenson, Mixon, Walker, Olave, and Monroe. Do I trade Walker, McLaurin, Singletary for Adams and Najee?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I just don't want any part of Najee Harris. He's been so bad. Like I don't, I don't know. And the things aren't going to get easier. Their schedule is not good at all, and so things aren't going to get any easier for him. So he's turned into he's basically been Devin Singletary. I mean, that's basically he's kind of getting you 11 to 12 fantasy points a game if you're lucky, and so that is Kenneth Walker, McLaurin, enough for for Devontae Adams. I think it's close, just because how good Devontae Adams has been. But I don't know. I think I'd rather do something different. And then from there, I mean, yeah, he'll have Stevenson and Mixon at running back, but it's a little bit thin. Like we just talked about with Stevenson and what could happen there in Buffalo. But with Stevenson, there's some concern that obviously the Patriots are going to still use Damian Harris. So Damian Harris is going to get more involved, and so Stevenson's not going to necessarily carry the same value that he was seeing before. And so you trade Kenneth Walker, now you're pretty thin at running back, and so I don't think you're really helping yourself. And to be honest, Olave and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, with Amon-Ra St. Brown healthy, I mean, he can put up pretty much the same type of numbers that Devontae Adams can for the most part, or at least close within some point of that. And so I don't think this trade actually helps you at all.
Might be able to replace Walker for Stevenson in the trade.
Again, same situation. That would be a little bit more something I would look to do. Maybe feel a little bit better about it. Just because of, like I said, Damian Harris's role in the offense, but I honestly just don't think you really need to make any moves.
Yeah, I would keep it as is with having Olave and Amon-Ra as well. I just didn't have that same visceral reaction of the absolutely not. So glad we got to talk through that. B-dubs, we need 2. Wandell, Deontay, Thielen, Cooks, half PPR.
First 2.
Yeah. Thoughts on dropping Clyde and picking up Kareem Hunt to stash?
Yeah, I think you can do that. The only worry is that if Kareem, but even still with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's still only playing 35-40% of the snaps, right? And so, Travis Etienne scored a touchdown. Now he's up to 25.3 on the week. Anyways, he's still not playing very much. He's extremely touchdown dependent. And like I said, it sounds very likely that Kareem Hunt's going to get traded at this point. And so I want Kareem Hunt on my team. And if CEH is the worst you got, I would drop him. I would make the move.
Need 2 in a PPR here for Ethan, A-Rob, Wandell, Boyd, and Lockett.
Ooh, that's
Locking
think
in
I-
Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at, and then I'm gonna go Tyler
Yeah.
Lockett.
Yeah, I think that's the move. Who would have thought?
Yeah, Ronnie for the flex, Foreman or Olave.
Olave. Yep.
Adam, Tyler Boyd or Brandon Ayuk in a PPR league. I'm gonna go with Brandon Ayuk. So I have Brandon Ayuk personally. I have him ranked wide receiver 13 is where I have him with Debo out, and I have Tyler Boyd at wide receiver 19.
So since Adam's already starting T Higgins, I will go Ayuk. I mean, Ramsey has not been good this year. They get these receivers moving around. They'll get Ayuk on jet sweeps and things like that. So I'm not necessarily worried about that, especially with Debo out. If Debo weren't out, I would double down on the Cincy receivers. But with Debo out, I still like this, and I'm not worried about Ramsey,
Even
to
so,
be honest.
the thing is though, even with Brandon Ayuk or Debo playing, we've seen Brandon Ayuk see 22 targets over the last 2 weeks. That's with Debo Samuel active, and so and he's really started to come on. Like I said, he really started to look like the number one wide receiver in this offense, and so I'm playing the guy who is going to be the number one wide receiver. Not and don't get me wrong, Tyler Boyd's in a great spot, but I just prefer Brandon Ayuk.
T Trilla rocking with us. Jacobs with Carr and Adams, or play Nick Chubb in a standard.
We're just going all in on the Raiders because I'm not sitting Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, that's I can't do that either. I like the matchup for Chubb slightly better, but with how Jacobs has been treated in this offense the past couple of weeks, you can't sit that. Fam first, Foreman or McLaurin in a PPR.
I'm going to go Deonta Foreman.
I'm going to go McLaurin in a PPR.
It's just no Chuba Hubbard, and so this is a pretty good matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. He's probably going to see a lot of carries. You can definitely see some pass catching work too, and so I don't know. I just lean towards Foreman.
Yeah, I don't mind Foreman for everything you just said. I just slightly lean McLaurin. I think that with the Colts being kind of a pass funnel defense.
NASCAR, Drake London or Darnell Mooney?
In a non PPR, I'll go London in a non PPR.
Yeah, I think I agree. Ashton, happy to see you here. 12-team PPR. Tied premium, excuse me. Woods, don't like it with Malik. Darrell Henderson. Rondell Moore, Irv Smith. I'm going to go with Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, I think in this scenario you just take the bankable volume.
Yeah. Truth. Now, what you think about Debo and Judy for Dameon Pierce?
That's too much.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
We love Pierce. He's a guy we talked about going back all the way to the off season before any of this even started to happen. If you're following along with our rookie dynasty content in the doldrums of the off season, but that's too much. I mean, Judy for Pierce, if Judy balling out right now, if you can sell high on him, but Debo for Pierce, I wouldn't do that. So adding Judy on top of it's too much.
Yeah. Ashton, I got offered Darrell Henderson for Zay Jones. James Cook and redraft and took it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I mean, now you just hope that the Rams don't go and trade for a running back, and then Daryl Henderson's useless. But yeah, as long as they don't make a trade, then yeah, I think that could end up being a good move. But also, you're worried. I would also stash Kyron Williams if he's sitting out there just in case.
Yeah,
because we know Sean McVay hates Daryl Henderson.
Confirmed.
Yeah. NASCAR Fantasy Live, Start Flex, Amari, DJ Moore, Deonta, or Eno Benjamin.
I'm going Amari.
I agree. Yeah. Donovan Peoples-Jones or Logan Thomas? I'm going to go DPJ here.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. We saw him get involved last week. No Njoku. I think it continues.
The infamous top of the morning to you as well. Start Brandon Ayuk or Daryl Henderson at the flex.
Ooh. Let me go Ayuk.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one as well.
With time to spare.
Yeah, time to spare. Got all the questions. Lastly, if you're still here, all I'm gonna say, the one thing that I will say is this is something that I've been thinking a lot about this week, and my thoughts is we are overvaluing Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs is the easiest sell high right now that is possibly out there. People are treating him like he is an elite running back. He is not. And it's been a great 3-game stretch that's not going to continue. And I think there's not a running back out there right now. Now, I'm not saying that I think Josh Jacobs all of a sudden is going to start being terrible, but I think Josh Jacobs is going to go back more to the norm of what he's always been. And that's been a guy that's a solid low-end RB1. And so if you could trade Josh Jacobs right now, especially if you were a team that needed some depth or needed some help somewhere else, Josh Jacobs is the guy that I would look to trade because he's not going to withstand this. He's not going to keep it going the way that he has been. So it's just something that I would like to say because people are talking about Josh Jacobs like he is, the best running back in the league, and that is not anywhere close to the truth. It's just been just an elite 3-game run that he's never seen before. So, truth.
I think that this is a good talking point as well to close things out. And I just dropped the Discord link for anyone who wants to jump in. Absolutely free, no strings attached. So if you have any other questions, anything comes up through the week, you can always reach out to us on there. But Debo for Pierce too much, even though I have D-Hop, A.J. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And you shouldn't be looking at like, oh, well, I can still get rid of him because I have these guys left. Like, I don't want to take that much of a loss just because I still have good options behind Debo.
It's interesting because I would actually do that trade, I think. Just because I think Dameon Pierce is the real deal. Like I don't think what we're seeing from Dameon Pierce is going to like disappear. So if he can be a top 12 to 15 running back rest of season, and I think he's probably more in the top 12 range. And Debo, I just don't know because especially now with Christian McCaffrey, like there's going to be some effects here of Christian McCaffrey to Debo Samuel, right? And so I think that he's going to lose some of that ability, especially just running the football like we've seen with Debo Samuel. And if he does, that really lowers his value. And so, like, if you can move that and get Dameon Pierce, then I don't really hate it. Because if you really look at Debo Samuel this year, he really hasn't been very good. I mean, he has one game of where he scored 23.7, and that was week 4. Other than that, it's 12.6, 14.7, 12.9, 11.2, 16, and 9.4. So he has not been very good this year. And so, like, he's not, and like, which is exactly what we talked about all offseason about Debo Samuel and why we were avoiding Debo Samuel. And so, with that being said, like, Brandon Ayuk is far more involved than he was last year. Especially like the first half of the season when Brandon Ayuk was in the doghouse. Brandon Ayuk is now, seeing a larger target share than what Debo Samuel is as of recently. And so if you can move it and get Dameon Pierce, I don't mind doing it. I don't care about trading Debo Samuel. I don't think you're actually losing, and you might view that as an upgrade over what Dameon Pierce is doing. Because Dameon Pierce is seeing, at least of the last 2 or 3 weeks, 4 or 5 targets per game as well. So there's a lot of things that are working in his favor. So I actually don't mind that if you want to trade Deebo Samuel for Dameon Pierce. I would have said Travis Etienne, but there's no shot in hell you're making that now with the way Travis Etienne is playing over the last, couple of weeks since James Robinson's been traded. Like, he's been that guy. So, anyways, I wouldn't be opposed to it if you could make that work. That's kind of how I see it. Anyways, that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We got all the questions answered. I appreciate everybody checking it out. We will be back again tonight to do the Week 9 streaming option or waiver options, I should say, for this week. And then we'll be back again with all our original content that we'll have all for you all next week. Hopefully we get a lot of trades and a lot of stuff to talk about with this week. So we'll see on that. But we will see you guys again tonight. Good luck this week. Let's, everybody get dubs this week. If you're playing DFS, let's get that money. We will see you guys again tonight. Bye.